Ultimately, the only thing that gets us through life is a knowledge deep inside of ourselves that we are known and that we matter to someone at least. But I think even more, we want to feel like we matter to the whole. And we know that we are so small, an infinitesimal part of this vast creation, this vast universe. But even then, there's something in us that needs to know that we count. Small as our contribution might be, that it has meaning, that our being here is cherished and it's purposeful. And isn't this what Christmas tells us? Isn't this why Christmas is still magical and still holds such an important place in our hearts? We're told that the source of everything, that which holds hundreds of billions of galaxies across an expanse so vast that we can't even begin to imagine, that unimaginable one has entered into this tiny planet in the form of a human infant, needing the care and the love of parents just to survive. And somehow the juxtaposition of these two opposites, the source of all that exists in a tiny, vulnerable baby, breaks through our usual intellectual defenses and our shut down hearts, and it reveals to us longings that we did not even know we had. A longing to be known, a longing to be loved. We live in a culture that we have had some role, some small role in helping to create, of anonymity, of indifference, sometimes even of hostility. And our world can communicate such horrible messages to us that, we're not really that important, we're expendable, that the world will get along perfectly well without us. We're reminded time and again how we don't measure up according to other people's standards. And we carry this message around that somehow we think we're deficient, that we're not successful enough, we're not intelligent enough, we're not attractive enough, that our ideas or viewpoints are faulty, and sometimes even that our experience isn't valid. And the message communicated to us is that if we just work hard enough, right, if we listen to the right voices, we might eventually get it right and be worthy of someone's time and concern, perhaps maybe even God's. But then we come to Christmas, and we listen again to the story, and we realize that even God has come as a baby. So that before God in human form, or any of us, had accomplished a single thing, or made a good decision or a poor decision, or developed good habits or bad habits, or demonstrated virtue or vice, there was simply the divine presence, just lying there, needing and longing to be touched and loved and cared for and fed and changed and, yes, even burped and rocked to sleep in a pair of loving arms. God is right there at the beginning point we all share. And those of us fortunate enough to have held an infant know of the visceral presence of God in this vulnerable, tiny child. Infinity meets intimacy. God in human form, the holy in the ordinary. This tremendous power in vulnerability. This is the Christmas story, and it's the story of all of us as well. And Christmas helps us to see it, to feel it in our bones, and perhaps even to live into it. To live in hope, because we begin to know that we are known, and that somehow we matter deeply, that we are loved. It's true, and we never tire of hearing it. I've experienced the angels at the births that I have been fortunate enough to know. I have felt the divine presence. I've seen the holy glow. I've been moved to tears because our hearts know that God is not distant, but is right here, right now, in this very moment. And not because we are exceptional, but simply because we are. So just like 2,000 years ago, I believe that the angels have gathered in mass. And they are hoping upon hope that we will finally see it and grasp it and take it to heart. That God has come. That we are bearers of the divine. That we are the ones who are sent to love the world into an awareness of God's presence. And we do this not by so much by what we do, but by who we are. So, sisters and brothers, will we have the courage to peel away all of those layers of ourselves that get in the way, and in our naked vulnerability, reveal to the world the Christ that dwells within? May it be so. Merry Christmas. Amen.